Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to today's video. Firstly, I hope you've all been keeping well and staying safe during these turbulent times. Now remember, we've all we've got, so be sure to look after one another. Okay, so within today's video, I'm going to go through some notes that I've taken from speaking to one of my mentors down in Melbourne. He is more of an experienced, mature Eastern European person that I communicate regularly, and we first met at a program, March 2019, and we've been sort of in touch and together ever since. And this guy here, he's a very, very lovely soul, and within that program, there's a certain part or time where I sort of broke down, just really opening up and being a lot more vulnerable to the room and explaining, certain things that I had and that I lost, specifically around my father. So he's a lovely Serbian man who is basically retired, done very, very well for himself. He's a John Maxwell trainer as well. He's part of the program, and for those who aren't aware of who John Maxwell is, look him up. He's a very, very deep thinking around personal development, mindsets, and how you can break into becoming the best version of yourself. And to be able to speak to someone like that, who is in that circle, and really get some advice from him, I've always kept in touch with him. His son is doing phenomenally well, who's over in Serbia. Sorry, one of the countries over there. He's just traveling, and he's very good in front of people. But he's he's a reflection of who his father is, and what his father's been able to do is just really give him some core foundation. So what I thought I'd do today, without going into too much detail about the relationship, he is someone who I look up to. He's someone who gives me very, very wise advice, and someone that I just listen to and enjoy having a good conversation with him. He's someone who speaks in stories as well. So every time I stuck with something or have a concept that I want to raise and speak with him, he breaks it down very simply and easily digestible in story format. So what I wanted to do, last time I spoke with him, I have a few notes that I'd like to share with you guys. So again, this video here is just to hand over some notes to whoever watches this video, and whatever you want to do with it, take it as you will. Dive into it a little bit more, break it apart, make it your own. But it's basically me being able to pass on my notes and my thoughts around it. Hopefully you can do the same thing as well, if it serves you. If it doesn't, question it. Don't act on it, don't use it, and also forge your own path. So this is a very open-ended conversation video to you guys, and without further ado, let's jump into it. So the first note that I took was something called "You become a man when your father dies and you have a child." So in that situation, that is my current predicament. And if I were to open up a little bit more or be completely transparent, during that program I spoke about how the loss of my father had really impacted me, or prior to that, how his influence has made me who I am today. Now granted, there is a lot of my mum's reference within me and what I do, but I sort of had the old man being sort of a good barometer or a mark in the sand as to the type of person sort of want to become. Now, were there bad sides or were there sort of negative sides to him? Yeah, of course. And I guess that's the same thing with everyone. But I guess it's up to you how you pick apart the good stuff in people and how you make that your own. There's obviously some negative parts that everyone has, and it's up to you to determine whether or not you want to take that upon you and move forward with it, or learn from it and not repeat it. So in this instance, there's a lot of good things that I took, and I was like, okay, cool. Taught us a lot about respecting elders, being able to work, good work ethic. As an example, I remember when I was 3 or 4, no, probably not that young, maybe 5 or 6. Anyway, we were over at a friend's place or over at someone's place, and every time we would clean the table up, we would go and do the dishes, we would help out wherever we can. And as I grow up and as I start to have a kid, I'm going to instill those sort of philosophies or just that respect. If you ever go into anyone's house, that's what I like my kid to be able to do. So again, always be able to help out, whether it be at the grandpa's place, whether it be at just someone we don't even know, offer it. I think that's a really, really good thing that I learned. So coming back to that quote there, where it says, "You become a man when your father dies and you have a child." It was very profound when he said that to me, but I really took that upon myself and went, yeah, okay, that is pretty cool. That's interesting. because, there's other people out there who still have their fathers around and have kids and even looking at having grandkids as well. But there's just something different. And I really felt that when Dragon told me that, because he's in that situation. He's probably around 60 odd, I think. And he said that it was really, really, caught me off guard, by the way. So that was the first note I took, and that's what he said to me on that conversation. So the next bit was audacity creates courage, hesitation creates fear. So I thought I wrote that down because at that time I was sort of contemplating between two things, the hesitation of fear of failure. It was a good conversation we had. And because of where I'm at the moment, how the business is going, the responsibilities that I have within the family as well. Aretha's not working anymore, so I am the sole provider. There's a lot of hesitation around the word fear and how I can use that as either a disabler for me, where I can really sort of go into that negative space, or if I can use that as encouragement. So what he had done there, he's actually flipped it and goes, well, audacity creates courage. Get that audacity of doing things that you wouldn't necessarily do in your current state, and start to build out the person or the persona who you want to become and step into that space. So he's saying that in order for you to do that, or in order to attain courage, being audacious with what you're doing, whether it be the goals, what you work on day in, day out, just use that to then attain courage, to then attain the person you want to become, or the person that you're stepping into. Sam Ovens, on a separate note, says, he goes, we are not the highest versions of ourselves which we can imagine. We are the lowest versions of ourselves which we can accept. Understand that you'll do nothing to achieve your dreams, but fight like hell to not breach your standards. As humans, we will do more not to lose something than we will to gain it. If you want to achieve your dreams and goals, you must turn them into irrefutable standards. Okay, so that was definitely not the quote I wanted to speak about. So I don't have it there. But anyway, that sort of aligns in with that one there. But anyway, let's move on. Here we go. Another thing that he said, again, around fear, was that fear knocks on the door. When you open it, there's no one there. So fear is life telling you to take action, improve on where you are weak. So whenever you see fear in your life, or if you come across a scenario or a situation where fear knocks on the door, just remember that fear doesn't exist. Fear is something that we've made up in our head, and it's something that we were sort of learnt, because again, as we grow up, or as we were born, we never come in with fear. Fear is something that we've built in ourselves. So fear, as I said, it's life telling you to take action and improve, and just highlights where there's a blind spot or there's a weakness within yourself. And that's where you're able to work on it, become a lot better. Okay, next point was, so here's a good concept that he was referring to as well, and that was more or less the way that health has been monetized, how health has become just a gimmick or a product. And he was referring to, if we look back to our ancestral ways, over thousands of years, he was referring to, in order for you to be healthy, you must look at how your family has been consuming foods over thousands of years and try to mimic that, or try to come as close as you can to those ways. So as an example, with myself being Pacific Islander heritage, there weren't too much in terms of whether it be dairy, whether it be rice, grains, nuts of sorts. It was mainly fish, definitely seafood, coconuts, and probably a lot of vegetation that I just off the top of my head can't think of at the moment. But those are the sort of dietary forms that, again, our DNA and our gut health and everything around us has been put together in order for us to be where we're at the moment. So the introduction of supposed foreign foods doesn't really help us, doesn't really serve us. So he was referring to, if you look back, or at least try your best to identify what the ancestors were eating over thousands of years, and try to bring your diet as close as possible to it, that could help alleviate a lot of these problems, or a lot of these not bacteria, just a lot of these issues that were occurring today with the introduction of not only pesticides and the like, and a lot of chemicals within the food, but just more the allergies that we have, purely because our bodies haven't been conditioned to consume that over thousands of years. So that is something that was pretty cool that we spoke about. But let's have a look at the next bit. We have something that is very, very direct with was, do your own research and don't listen to other people. And that was including himself. So what he said that was, it goes, if you are interested in a specific topic, if you're interested, whether it be to do with the current situation at the moment, the way that governments do things, even the way that you as a person has gone through education, always question and always think of what is the agenda behind the so-called norm. And we had a really good chat about said predicament, and he was just stating that do your own research, listen to people, but most importantly, listen to your gut. And that's something I've been speaking about in other videos as well, is that the final determining factor should be your gut. It should be, does this feel right? Does this not feel right? Which way does the body want to go? And that's usually well before we've made a conscious decision. So the gut will always act first, and then we'll try to logically use logic in order to either agree with it or even disagree with it. There's another guy that's part of a company that I was with beforehand. He was very, very quick at making decisions, very good as well. And I've been into many things, the alcohol business, also in the health business as well. What else? There's so many things that he was dabbling in, but he was always making decisions fast. Yes, he'd fall in his sword on some of them, but the majority of the times he would just act, move, pivot, and you could see he was very, very much an action taker. And he has the results to show for it. So that was someone that I looked up to, whilst I was starting my own business and starting off and seeing how he moves. So again, that sort of relates to exactly what he was referring to. Another point here, it says you need fuck you money, and you make the rules for the game, not the other way around. So what he states there is that you want to get yourself into a financial position where you have fuck you money, where you're not controlled or you're not determined by either an employee or either employer or just someone that has control, at least some form of control over you. He says if you have fuck you money in the bank, it means that you can dictate where you want to go as an individual, as a family, and you make your own rules in this game we call life. Now, yes, there are laws that we need to abide. That is the rules of this game that we're speaking of or playing in. But there is a point where you can actually have a say in the rules that you have. So as an employee, you are confined by someone else's rules. So it was he made that point quite significant as a business owner like myself. And he says that you need to get to this certain figure. Now, this figure could be for other people a lot smaller, but he's given me a round enough figure for me to work towards and have in the bank. And again, he says to stay liquid as well, because there's just too much volatility within the market at the moment, whether it be the stock markets, the housing market. But hold on to your money at the moment, and then have the time to execute, drop that cash in when the time is right. Now, again, you can never pick when the time is right, but most often than not, it's better to have the cash in hand when you can execute and fire, rather than having to wait or not even play the game purely because you don't have the buy-in or don't have the funds to actually make that call. So that was something pretty cool that he made me realize. Actually told me, threw it down my throat, which is pretty cool, because again, someone in that position, someone who's done very well, has a beautiful family, has their kids off in successful fields, of course I'm going to listen as well. Gut feels right when speaking to him as well. But that's pretty much it. Final thoughts were make decisions before going hand. Again, it goes gut, research, then execute. So that's pretty much it. Those are some of the notes that I've taken from that conversation. I know it's sort of mishmash everywhere, but again, the intention of this video here is just to share my thoughts and those ideas, diving into a little bit deeper into the concepts and giving it out to you guys. Now, it's up to you if you want to use it. It's up to you if you want to be able to work with it. But I thought if I can put that out on YouTube or a medium that can be consumed by others, and they can take it, rip it apart, make it their own, so be it. So that was the intention behind it. Hope you guys do enjoy this video. There will be a lot more videos like this. But for now, I just wanted to share this with you. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you do like these videos, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And no doubts, I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow. See ya.